Dr. Shashikant has been conducting these sessions for us for a very long time now. Most of the people really like him, and they know him very well, better than I can explain in a few lines. Just for your information, he is a proponent of integrative medicine for disease prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, and he has impacted the health of multiple individuals in India, China, Southeast Asia, and Europe. He's been practicing for more than 15 years now, and he also conducts multiple workshops online, offline, in India as well as abroad in areas as vast as rehabilitation, stress management, relaxation techniques, medical yoga, applied psychology, and lifestyle disease management. And integrative medicine, I'm sure most of you would know, even if you haven't attended our previous session. It's an approach where you adapt different medical, disciplines like allopathy, naturopathy, Ayurveda, yoga, Unani, to give a holistic solution which treats people, the patients, not only physically but mentally and psychologically, and even treats their soul as well. So, with that short note, I would like to hand over to Dr. Shashikant to start today's session. Thank you very much, sir. Please, it's over to you now.
Thank you, sir. It's very happy to see the interest in integrative medicine. And with that interest of integrative medicine, what you have. So today's session is, it has been arranged. So I'm very thankful for the people team to make this happen. So integrative medicine is actually, when we discuss about any integrative medicine stuff, most of the people do not know it. So for that, we have to first understand what are the players who are into the integrative medicine. So I'll not discuss much about the definitions and all the details like last time. So it is more about integrative medicine. So topic is that, and as Rajesh sir already concisely mentioned about integrative medicine, that's all about integrative medicine. But in Indian scenario and Western scenario, there are some differences which I'd like to share it with you, which is more technical, but it's easy to understand. I'll give you some examples to make us more understanding. So imagine a sphere, a circle, which is named as a conventional medicines. Just one small circle. I have already prepared all those things, but I'll just to start with. I take some time, maybe 5 minutes to 10 minutes time to adjust with the new energies. So maybe some 17 plus people are there, and some are new and some are old people. So in this meantime, I'd like you to imagine. So one circle, conventional medicine. Another circle is a self-care, and another circle is a complementary and alternative medicine. Conventional medicine, self-care, and complementary and alternative medicine. So make an intersection of all these three circles mentally. Just imagine those. The interjunction of these three, conventional medicine, self-care, and the complementary and alternative medicine, is the integrative medicine. So I've done something for you people, which I already this time I'm a bit more prepared. Rather than using small letters, I'd like to use like this. Imagine one side is the conventional medicine. Conventional medicine means modern medicine. The hospitals, the sick care system, what we have. I call it as the sick care system because it is sick care system. When there is a disease, our doctors are available for treatment. So that's the conventional medicine. CAM is complementary and alternative medicine. So complementary and alternative medicine are the category of treatments or the therapies which people will take, which are not there in the conventional medicine, but people will take it anyway. For example, National Institute of Health USA says that 38+% of people who are taking conventional treatment go for one or other alternative medical services. So that's how the National Institute of Health, NIH, is a conventional care provider, have set a new field of complementary alternative medical system, separate branch, because of seeing so much of improvement, seeing so much of interest in the people who are coming for modern medical practices. Self-care, it's all whatever self-care you do, your diet change, walking, exercises, whatever you do, it's all come under self-care. So this central focused point is our area of interest. We call it as integrated medical care or complementary integrative health, or we call it as IM, integrative medicine. So this is very interesting. Complementary alternative medicine is a separate branch where it is just feel the words which I have noted down. Complementary alternative medicine is based on evidence-informed practice. Feel this word, evidence-informed practices. Conventional care is evidence-based practices. What is the difference between evidence-informed practice and evidence-based practice? Evidence-based practice is a combination of most of the research activities in that particular, either it's a medicine or the disease or any aspect of mind or body, psychology or the physical diseases, which are most conclusive scientific evidences. I noted down all this. Most conclusive scientific evidences where it is available, then they will take it up. And it's an updated knowledge. For example, I'll give you an example. Ivermectin used in corona. So it is the most conclusive scientific evidences are there where the small bits and pieces, components of the viruses are not allowed to go inside the nucleus of the cell, where the viral components, especially components like RNA, will hijack the cell wall and start multiplication. So ivermectin works at binding some of the components where it will prevent the viral components to go inside the cell nucleus. So these evidences are available. So it is the most conclusive scientific evidences. So that comes under conventional medicine. Complementary alternative medicine, they'll say that evidence-informed practices. I'll share with you some of the evidence-informed practices. For example, these contents needs to be specifically kind of quoted, informed. So one of the survey conducted on 450 patients on who had a cancer in MD Anderson Institute of Cancer, 2000. This survey says that 88% of people used complementary alternative medical therapies along with conventional medicine. 88% of people used some CAM therapies, complementary and alternative medicine, CAM therapies. Now on, I'll be calling complementary and alternative medicine as a CAM, CAM. So 88% of the people use the CAM along with conventional medicine. Very, very interesting fact is 88%, out of 88%, only 61% of the people discussed with their physician. So remaining people kept quiet, silent. So second, same 450 survey, 91.6% of people used the spiritual practices. Complementary and alternative medicines can include anything and everything under the sky, like prayer healing, self-healing, distant healing, Reiki, pranic healing, homeopathy, whatever you call, nutritional therapies, holy water therapy, whatever you call, anything and everything, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, everything. And see, this is very interesting. spiritual practices, 91% of the people who had cancer out of 450 people practiced some or other forms of spiritual practices based on their religious belief, 91%. But only 36% of people informed their physician. So there is very interesting recent facts I'll update after talking this. The third one, mind body therapies. 79.5% of people used mind body therapy for their cancer healing. And only 26.3% of people informed the doctors. Doctors in this word means those people who are practicing conventional medicine, oncologist or radio oncologist, all those people. And 40% of the patients tried some other methods. Others include anything and everything. So only 15% informed. So on an average, when you see the data, patient or the receiver is doing some activity which is based on his own interest, or he or she searches on the internet or word of mouth about okay, this treatment is good for me, so let me take that treatment without informing the doctor, or some people will inform the doctor. So what it is telling me is there is a gap between the understanding of CAM therapies and the conventional medicine. Either the conventional medical doctors do not have the time to listen to you, or in whichever dimension you want to take it, whichever point of view you want to take it, those people who are making a good amount of money based on anti-allopathy agendas. You understand the word anti-allopathy agendas? अरे आप ये टैबलेट ले रहे हो, क्यों ले रहे हो, ये तो लाइफ लॉन्ग लेना पड़ेगा, I'll give you this जड़ी बूटी, take it. This may not be scientifically based, but it can be. They will use the word clinically approved, MCA recognized, IMA recognized, Dettol paint, So it is a evidence informed, but not evidence based. Somebody will quote an evidence. I'll give another example. National Health Survey 2012, USA notes down the details of different complementary and alternative practices and percentages. Note down. Deep breathing techniques, 11% of the people out of all the 100 people having diseases. Yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, 10% of the people. Manipulative therapies, 8% of the people. Meditation, 8% of the people. Exclusively yoga, 6.1% of people. Homeopathy, 2.2%. Note down that 2.2% homeopathy. Naturopathy, 0.04%. And significant one is dietary supplement, 17.7%. And last one is energy healing, 0.5%. You note down this, out of 100% of people, how many percentage of people use this? This is a bigger survey. Bigger survey means 28,000, 30,000, 40,000 people have been surveyed on the phone, telephonic survey, or online surveys. So what it is telling is, if I hear and see some XYZ, I'll not use the specific name as a church, temple, or whatever other things. Some spiritual institution will tell you that please come here, we will ward off the ghosts. Take this holy water, ward off the ghosts. So if I am very clear, what I'm taking is, I'm only taking 0.5% of the energy healing practices which is there. And out of this 0.5%, I'm claiming to be claiming. So what I'll claim is, ये भी evidence based है, इसके बहुत सारे research हुआ है. There are so many research. So evidence informed practices means, इसमें तो बहुत सारे research है, योगा बहुत सारे research है, कर लो. They'll not tell you specifically आपका headache में क्या research करके आपने ये किया है और क्या hypothesis in what hypothesis you have been training this, they will never give you because they don't know it. So by giving you this example of a national, health survey, we come to a conclusion that there is a difference between alternative medicine, complementary medicine, and integrative medicine. So we follow something very important for you. We follow evidence-based integrative medicine concept, or you can call it as EBM, evidence-based medicine. Evidence-based medicine में क्या करता है? The healthcare provider, who should be a modern medical doctor, see the difference. The healthcare provider should be a modern medical doctor to practice to start with, and who should be informed all the details of most conclusive scientific evidences. For example, long-term yoga practitioners, GABA levels, gamma aminobenzoic acid levels are high. Long-term meditators, thalamic relay station, the nuclei, the brain cells at the level of thalamus, where there is the peripheral part of the body sends signals to the brain through a relay station called as thalamic relay station. वहाँ पे neurons will be more in the people who are meditating for a long time. So this is the most conclusive scientific evidence. They're already there. It's not just one person doing the research, but all the researchers collectively we have gathered, and then give a most scientific evidence content. So the evidence-based practice should be relevant, it should be rigorous, and it should be real time. So integrative medicine is this. It follows all this. It is relevant, it is rigorous, and it is real time. So real time ka matlab, there is no proclaiming to be something. Will heal you all the diseases of your body. Somebody claims. I'll give another survey. In India, 2015, there are 67% of people were using one or other forms of herbal supplements or Ayurveda supplements. 2015, 67%. Household use of Ayurveda. So 2018, it became 75%. That's why the moment you on the TV, you'll see herbal, Ayurveda. ये XYZ herb है, Ayurveda based पे है. So this is an evidence-informed practice. The man who is practicing, the man who is portraying to be knowing everything, he doesn't know anything. It means that the word only I'm using, scientifically based, researched, proven, clinically proven. Who has done clinic, what clinic, what things they have done, they don't know. Now we come back to who are the players who are giving these treatments, all the concept. So there are people who are doctors or healthcare providers, that those can be anybody, psychologists, psychiatrists, physiotherapists, all those people. They will only do what patient wants. These care providers will only do what patient wants. And patient will tell you what he or she wants. And there is an industry, or there is an tool to get you either pill or procedure or yoga, Ayurveda, whatever you can call it. So there is an industry, Ayurveda industry, yoga industry. So industry has a commerce interest. They are least bothered about your individual interest. They are bothered about commerce interest. Some Baba will come and claim that my medicine has worked for all the patients of Corona. So that is evidence-informed practices. They'll say, we have done a lot of research, we have done control studies, single blind, control blind, random, They'll say this, they will use the medical jargon. They'll use the medical words to convince you that it is good. But there is a commerce interest. So in our case, what we do is, we put patient at the center. So our practice is patient-centric approach. We will not give what exactly patient wants. Now, a patient is uninformed, he or she doesn't know much because it's by itself it is a science, and we are not commerce activities where they are dragging me away from the patient. So everything is patient-centric approach. Patient को क्या चाहिए वो हम लोग उतना ही देंगे. You want medical consultation, we'll give medical consultation. So that is the difference between other players, other competitors, whoever in this field. They are not here. They are on other side. They are maybe on industry side. They'll say allopathy ठीक नहीं है. So I use the word anti-allopathy propaganda. Conventional medicine, they'll say, you take care of yourself, self-care, no? Clean all the germs from your house. Take this XYZ bottle. So ultimately, on a broader scale, if you imagine, the cities are most dirtiest water goes out of the. You understand? So city outlet, if you see all the drainage of the city, that's the most smelling, most disgusting smell and content chemicals in what we reproduce. But when I go to the forest, everything is taken care. So it's not one. It is, you should not just focus on the industries. When you see with this information, doctor, patient, industry, doctor, patient, industry. If here the same industry can come as a yoga, same industry can come as a energy healers, same industry can come as a some other alternative players, Ayurveda, homeopathy. You know, I don't want to use any specific names, but Babas, all those self-proclaimed religious heads, they'll also use, they don't mind using your mind. They'll say that if you are not using this, then you are not patriotic. If you are not using this, then you are anti-India, something like that. But nobody is talking about patient-centric. Patient को किसी को चिंता नहीं है. So where we found that there is a lacuna there is a gray area, there is a space that needs to be bridged, which is focused on the patient. In this integrative medicine, the patient and the doctors are the participants in the healthcare providing, which is centered around the patient, which what the patient needs. You know, it's not what patient wants. What patient needs, we will find out. That's our headache to find out and give you. And from there, we'll get it from the industry as much as we need. If somebody is, I'll take one example. If somebody is having 3 vessels of the heart is already blocked, 80%, 90%, we'll definitely say, please go to a cardiologist with this particular, any of these centers where they'll do cardiothoracic surgery, CABG, they'll do. I'll say that will come under healthcare advocacy. So with this, what I want to make you clear is, in India, there are so many claims available, which they say that they are scientifically based. They say that they are, see, just to explain this, evidence-informed practice and evidence-based practice. This is what, you know, when somebody is on this side of the stream of a conventional medicine, they'll say that conventional medical doctors have been trained to not to accept anything unless there is an evidence. But some of those doctors are also blind to just word of everything. Kuch use nahi hai. It's of no use. No, they'll just say that. And some doctors say that, okay, you are using some Ayurveda product, some products, your kidneys will be failed because of heavy metal toxicity. That is true. Some of the evidences, but not all, not everywhere. So there is a blindness here. There is a blindness here. There is also blindness here. Patient is blind. He or she doesn't know. If some Baba is telling something, they think that it is true. That Baba might be a lifestyle interventionist to teach yoga. Till that part, it is very acceptable with all the great reverence. You already know, you already know whom I am talking about. So there is one story which I'll tell you. If I say I'll draw something on the paper, you should tell me what it is. what it is?
M.
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 Yeah. So what it conveys to your mind, the moment you see this yellow color M, something
Goes
it
up.
connects. Huh?
Some ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
No. Don't take it in a spiritual context. Just take it in general routine advertisements. What somewhere you will see.
Medicine.
No, something related, something to eat. Yes, you're there. You're there. McDonald's. Somebody said McDonald's.
Yeah.
So consumer psychology is so much deeply embedded. The moment we get the signals, the signs, you understand what it is. If somebody is advertising on the TV, XYZ CDs are available. So it's not exactly CDs and audios. It is something to tell about alcohol. So alcohol companies will not advertise this alcohol is available with us. They'll say this club is available, these CDs are available with us. So everybody knows that it is alcohol. In the same context, everybody knows whom I am talking and why I am talking. Now it comes, what should be the best method to go about? This is a very simplified version. All of you are able to see this?
Yeah.
So imagine there is one pyramid. On the top of the pyramid, it is evidence based or the most effective, most scientifically conclusive research articles. And on the down there is a value testing. Value testing, use testing, and this is efficacy testing. So this is a critical approach.
Rajesh, there's background noise.
Yeah, not from my
I'm
side.
trying to mute on.
Yeah, I can mute all, no problem. So this is absolutely interesting. If it is, see, each one of these have its own research article. It's not just Shashikant telling you this, not absolutely no. There is a research for this particular approach of evidence-based medicine. There is, So on the top of this, if my goal is an integrative medicine or my goal is some treatment, I should get most evidences here. Like what I have just now said, ivermectin works on the cell wall to take off the viral components, not making them enter into the nucleus. So these evidences are here. Those are meta-analysis. Hardcore research availabilities are there. They are here. And on one side, if I'm saying that one of the patient, got the hair, a hair loss patient got the hair, I have proof with me. I have individual case study with me. If somebody is claiming they are at the bottom of the pyramid, I'll split this into further details and I'll share it with you. You can imagine here there is some public, there is some basic scientist. On the top, there is a doctor. On this side, there is a clinical research. On the top, there is the implementing people or the policies. And on the top, there are meta-analysis. If you can imagine like this, meta-analysis, one example I'll give you. Dr. Dean Ornish, cardiac, reversal programs for the heart. They have a huge number of meta-analysis, so many randomized control trials, so many observations, everything they have now. They have a fixed protocol which proven beyond reasonable doubt that more than 20,000, 30,000 people have been benefited. Systematic review or meta-analysis. Different context. Okay. Even if you're not able to see it, it's fine. Same thing. Just now, what a simplified version I have just explained, elaborated it. So, base values, value system, testing, and efficacy. Efficacy is what you have an internal proof that it works. Efficacy is an internal proof that it works. Efficiency or effectiveness is an external proof. Somebody says that it has worked for me. Those word of mouth people will, somebody has said it has worked for me. So at the base of this, if I put it, this is a public base scientist. This is a laboratory. This is a quantitative studies like case studies, single case studies, 12 people, random, small trials. Somebody has done one research article on one person doing, headache treatment. Some small scale research like some Babas and some spiritual heads of whatever, all the three religions, spiritual heads, they'll do some of these so-called small scale, low quality evidence based practices. They claim that, your system doesn't work, my system works much better. So that all comes under quality. They all come under quantitative approach. This case studies. It's a laboratory. Simple laboratory says that this method works. Then goes up a little bit is randomized controlled trial and research observation. So it's a clinical research observation and randomized controlled trials. For example, vitamin C works for you. Vitamin zinc, vitamin C, the omega-3 fatty acid, all those. Why usually doctors usually write omega-3 fatty acid for you, for it is working for your cardiac health and lipid metabolism, because there are evidences where it has observed that research observation, observed, they felt that by adapting or adding the omega-3 fatty acid, there is a significant reduction in the cholesterol levels and the cardiac health was improved. There are articles. So these articles are much better than just case studies. Just going little above, randomized control trials are two varieties where one researcher is there, one or two or 10, whatever, and the people are there. And if it is a double blind, both researcher and the people doesn't know what the content. Their work is only to implement, see the difference, note down all the physical parameters, psychological parameters, whatever it is, and note down to the higher authorities. That's it. Single blind means the researcher knows and the patient doesn't know. Or it can be other way. So usually sample size patient will not be knowing things in a single case study. So where there is a work of a doctor. So it's a practice and the science. I put it in simple words like a science and practice. And here it comes to policies. For you to make it a significant change, you need to have a meta-analysis study. You want to put it across to use, or you want to put it across the efficacy of the practices in the form of proof. You need to be on the top. So systematic review, or we call it as meta-analysis, and health service approval. Those allopathy conventional studies approves that, okay, this is really having some work. Like for example, I'll give one good example. Dr. Mehmet Oz, who is a cardiothoracic surgeon, you can find out, who uses the yoga and the pomegranate juice for the people whom he is operating on. He'll cut open their heart and work on their blood vessels of their heart. He uses yoga, he uses pomegranate juice, he uses Ayurveda. So when he uses, makes good sense, because he is on the top of the pyramid, he is not on the bottom of the pyramid. When some Baba claims here, he is here, he wants to give this evidence. You understand? He wants to give simple case studies for a top research scientist who is working on 20,000, 30,000 people's meta-analysis. Not good. Who can implement and create policies? So not good. So what is the better answer for all this is follow the middle path, follow the integrative medicine. Any questions in this? If this is complicated to understand, this is very simplified version.
Very simple. I have one question.
Yeah.
Yeah, this you see, no doubt these Ayurvedic medicines and they are based on the commercial interest. I understand.
No, I don't exactly mean that. I only mean
no. I mean, I see that is the fact also. In fact, most of these commercial advertisements.
No. I don't mean that. Just what I was trying to say is there are three people One is a healthcare provider who can be of any stream, Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, any stream. Second is a patient. Third is an industry. Industry's focus will be on the commerce all the time, irrespective of the patient. That's what I mean.
Yeah, true.
I
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm telling is even the allopathic drug manufacturing companies, their interest is also purely commercial, right?
Yeah, it includes. So that is an industry. That is an pharma.
Yeah,
pharma lobby.
So there are cases. There are cases in which allopathic drug manufacturing companies try to bribe the doctors to prescribe their medicines and things like that. What we read in papers and all these things.
No, you could not understand my the way I put it across. I'm not standing on either on the allopathy side nor on the Ayurveda side. I'm standing in between. I'm only saying that commercialization is there. The pharma lobby is there, industrial lobbies are there, political lobbies are there. The people with a lot of money, lobbies are there. Absolutely. McDonald's, if you take it as an example, take it on the note, every 4 kilometers of USA had a McDonald's. Every 4 kilometers. So now they are shutting down because standard American diet of, it is a suicidal diet. So lobbies are there to increase their cholesterol. And pharmacy people come and they'll tell they take this medicine for cholesterol. I'm not. So those will come under the industry people. Individual doctors are different. Industry is different. There are doctors who are interested in the industry. There are people who are there is. I'm taking both the positive and negative together mixed. So it is not just one-sided approach. But who suffers ultimately is patient, and doctor who on other side is also patient sometimes. I'll give one statistics is London-based statistics says that an average lifespan of a doctor, conventional medical doctor, is 57 years, average lifespan. Another study says if an oncologist having cancer, see this research, oncologist having cancer, they will avoid anti-cancer medications based on what stage of disease they have. So they avoid. So they, they don't take. There is very minute difference, delicate line with what I talked is. When I talked about these 3 people, I only said it when I say doctors, I said mainly allopathy because it is a majority practice is this. But if all the people are doing good health activities, dietary activities, dinacharya, ritucharya as per Ayurveda, the Ayurveda should come first. Because all the people are not following their diet, they are not sleeping on time, they are not eating on time. That's what allopathy is saying. So I mean, industry, they're also good and bad, patient also good and bad, all industry also good and bad. But usually industry focus will not be just on the patient. Patient ko best kya chahiye, they are not into it. But they'll focus, how do I convince this patient to take my pill or procedure with particular cost? But there are less people here, less people. We are not saying that we are the only one. There are less people here who genuinely wants to focus on the patient-centric approach. Less medications, more of lifestyle modification. And of course, it is, in integrative, when we said that, I never deny any of these lobbies and what we're talking. So I'm pro. We taken this integrative stream. I am because we want to promote yoga and Ayurveda with much more evidences. So this is a difference. When that particular Baba talks about when he or when he did something wrong, he says that I am Ayurveda, you are allopathy. Not that. It is not that. Actually, it is not that. There are so many good Ayurveda doctors who are into this field. They're not into just industry. And the person who is representing either the national interest or the Ayurveda interest are actually not. They are having their own self-interest, but not exactly the patient-centric interest. Of course, all the good and bads with this concludes and includes all the goods and bads, not just one-sided approach. But integrative medicine is something new, which next slide will make you very clear. So alternative medicine is you give something in place of conventional medicine. आप बीपी का मेडिसिन मत लो, मेरा टैबलेट लो. If you are replacing some non-proven medicines as a replacement of conventionally proven with most scientific evidences, then what you're talking is alternative medicine. In this, there are some people who claim Ayurveda is, some people, it's not just, I should not use that word, some system where they'll say, my medicine is better. Stop the English medicine and take this medicine. They're all under this category of complementary medicine. Is the one where you use in conjunction with conventional medicine. You use in conjunction with conventional medicine, but you don't know how much. Problem with conventional complementary medicine is you don't know to what extent I can use manipulative therapy, as I mentioned, no, deep breathing 11% and yoga, tai chi 10%, like that. So in conventional, in complementary and alternative medicine, somebody can claim that this healing will work for you 100%. This breathing will work for you 100%. This Ayurveda will work for you 100%. They'll claim, but they are not. They claim, but they are not replacing. They'll say you take allopathy also, you take ours also. Ours is more working. But integrative medicine is the one which I would like to read for you. Is it used together with conventional medicine in a deliberate manner that is personal, that is personalized, evidence-based, and safe. So that is I am well. That's how we hijack this word I am, and well is a wellness. So we never deny any of the lobbies. We never, if somebody is having blood pressure of 180/100, we'll say, what you want to do? You want to take Ayurveda now? It is not a good time to take Ayurveda now. You can take later, sometime later. You go and meet some good cardiologist anywhere. In Bangalore, I'll just say, go to Jayadeva or go to Chinmaya, like that. What we refer, when we refer to a place where there is a more, bit more, comparatively, bit more clean, ethical, value-based practices are going on. We only refer there. So this is what, in short about integrative medicine. It is neither, it's a part of this too, but it is something distinct. It is a personalized, evidence-based, and safe. So now you can ask your question.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
It's very nice that you talked about the integrated medicine, which is a combination of the alternatives available based on evidences and based on the ESA also. But
Yeah.
in today's practicalities, if I go to a doctor gives me hardly 2 or 3 minutes for him to diagnose what I have. In this integrated medicine, what you have said, the doctor has to have some time to understand the patient.
Yeah,
it's not there. It's just 2 minutes. He decides something, and we have to believe that.
Yeah. So
how do you address that in the integrated medicine concept?
Yeah, in my case, we three of us as a team partners, we spent more than minimum of 10+ years, much before establishing this company, much before 10 years plus, to understand the industry, to know what are things it takes for you to get the treatment done, and what are the benefits of super specialty and drawbacks of super specialty, and the space in between that. What you talked about is the super specialist is so much busy in his or her career or work that after this much level of super specialty, he or she will be able to make a quick diagnosis. That's the positive part. That's what they are taking 5 minutes. That's the positive part, because they studied for 14.
Dr. Shashikant, you are on mute.
You're not audible, sir.
Yeah, just a moment. There is some. Now it's audible.
Yeah, now it is audible.
Yeah, there is some incoming call. So what I mean to say is, they have studied MBBS for now it is 6.5. MBBS 6.5, then waiting time, then 3 years of MD, then waiting time, then 3 years of super specialty. After these many years of study, though, that doctor will become super sharp to identify the diseases of that particular field quickly. he needs just a half a minute, 1 minute, because he is doing that only, like Arjuna. So that's the positive part. That's why the doctor is seeing you so quick, because he knows, he has studied that. Those many number of years of investment is that investment for learning to diagnose quickly and effectively. That's the positive part of it. Negative part is, after diagnosing so quickly, because you studied so well, so much, so long, so many years, you are seeing the body and diagnosing using the laboratory methods, MRI, all those blood tests and all those. But innately, you are not exactly focusing on the patient's emotions. You're not innately focusing on the diet. You're not exactly focusing on the lifestyle. You're not focusing on other aspects which can be contributing towards the health or towards the disease causing habits. So what we are trying to do is, we want to address mainly the chronic disease. We want to address this chronic diseases and pain management effectively, because it is less. When you go to a doctor, they'll give you antacids or painkillers, all the medications, MRI, you get it done. You say that, okay, there is a mild compression or there is no problem at all. Take these medicines for a few days and go home. And after going home, what to do? You if you are very enthusiastic, you will go for 10 days of physiotherapy or 10 days of TENS treatment or ultrasound treatment or interferential treatment, whatever. You go for some 1 month of yoga, but after that you'll stop, because the interest will become reduced, because you'll feel dejected and you'll say nothing is working for me, so you'll lose hope. So that's what it is. The patient interest is only patient demands something and doctor provides that. So we are the one who is encouraging these activities, and we are the one who is questioning those same activities. So I'm not complaining in this, but it's a part of evolution where the integrative medicine should be the future, especially for India, because in Indian context, if somebody can work on the integrative medicine, that will be much more effective than any part of the world, because outside world do not understand the mind part of the human, not the psychology. Psychology is not complete without Indian psychology. This is my kind of a statement where all the Western psychology, applied psychology, clinical psychology, everything starts with understanding of little bit about normal mind and more about abnormal mind. But there are no research, no scriptures anywhere in the world except in India which speaks about normal mind. That too, part of Indian spiritual yogic culture. Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about mind. Some disturbance. What I was telling. So India is the only country where you have the scripture for describing the normal mind. Nowhere in the world. In India is the only country where there is not only description of normal mind, but also supranormal mind. This is most fascinating part of our journey towards integrative medicine. Is when we take up yoga, we as an Indian understand the science of soul much more deeper than any country of the world. So in that sense, integrative medicines will be much more powerful and ideal role model for all other countries which they're trying it in bits and pieces. So without inclusion of yoga and Ayurveda, integrative medicine will not be complete in our context. When there are other institutions like AIIMS, you can go and find out All India Institute of Medical Science. There is a separate department for integrative medicine. So they are also doing good work. But in this good work, there is a doctor, there is a yoga teacher, there is a multidisciplinary approach is there. In our case, we were little bit forward, making the doctor who is practicing is also practicing yoga. That's the difference. The doctor who is practicing conventional medicine is also teaching yoga. That's how we differentiate ourselves from any other so-called competitors or the so-called healthcare providers. We're also into the basic primary health care system, in bracket sick care system. Primarily, first time when you go to a physician as a family physician, the concept of family physician, where the family doctor used to know more of all the family members, all the elderly ladies or small children. So pediatric practice, gynecology practice, and normal general practice. So that's the family medicine concept. Now, very recently, there is a separate MD coming into family medicine and integrative medicine. That's they are evolving slowly. MD into mind body medicine, California. They are evolving slowly. But if an Indian true integrative medicine concept is established and it is encouraged, that's very important. Establishing, implementing, planning, everywhere it can happen. But encouraging those, those new bodies, which is something new, something patients can large populations. So that's also a crucial part where the partner also will need to be involved for for this particular aspects to grow. It is not one-sided. So in that sense, integrative medicine is a part of future where after this recent clash between so-called allopathy doctors and Ayurveda doctors, where actually doctors are fighting for some businessman's opinion, some Baba's opinion. Actually, it should not be. So ultimately, what happens will, the conventional medical doctors will not promote much of this Ayurveda doctors or yoga practices based on the comments of such kind of people. Actually, by this kind of comments, actually, in longer run, the person is actually harming yoga and Ayurveda, not encouraging. So it is not replacing the conventional medicine with the yoga and Ayurveda, but they should complement. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor. I have just one more question. Do I understand from what you said that during the course of this integrated medicine with a patient, when you are implementing it on a patient, then over a period you will also do the review and then also have the corrections taking place in between for the medications, etc. Course corrections, are there possibility in this?
If I put across your question like this, if for example, if there are there specialists available on the platform of integrative medicine who are seeing different diseases, and there is an interdisciplinary referral. If somebody is having hypertension and diabetes, so we will be referring to a diabetologist first, and then to a cardiologist, and then our integrative part will come.
Sorry, my question is slightly different. Let us take the same example as you said. There is a patient who's having diabetes and hypertension, say for example.
Yeah.
When the patient approaches an integrated medicine practitioner, he looks at his levels and just do the scientific evaluation, etc., and probably starts prescribing medicines at a certain level depending on the seriousness or the level of the patient. Then during the course of the medication over a period of time, when there's a drastic improvements coming in, you also do the course correction in the medications and the different practices?
Absolutely. With the same extension of the same example, but in the beginning itself, I would have given oral hypoglycemic agent, the medicines to reduce the blood sugar. I'll give it by default, and I will say one research like the methi seeds. There is one research with that which proves that there is a methi seeds improve the insulin sensitivity. There is one research like that. So by default, I'll say half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of methi powder, morning once, evening once. By default, I'm starting already. So I'll give you medications for the conventional medicines. I'll give the allopathy medicine, and by default, I will add the breathing technique. By default, I will add the methi seeds and all this. And then I'll run through a course of 1 month or 2 months, however the person is into. If it is initially diagnosed within 1 year of time, we call it as a honeymoon period of diabetes, where exercise and diet works much better to completely control it without medication. We'll try to achieve that. When his or her blood sugar levels are under control, we will taper the conventional medicine. See the difference. we will taper the conventional medicines, but I'll continue the methi powder, and I'll ask them to continue the stress management and yoga practices. By that, we are actually non-judgmental in considering different streams, but we are focusing on the long-term health of a patient and reducing the allopathy medication for sure.
Okay, thank you, doctor. I stay in
Makes sense,
Hyderabad. I stay in Hyderabad, so maybe I will have to get in touch with you at some point of time. I will ask the
Yeah.
organizers if we can share your email address or phone number so that we can get
Yeah.
in. Thank you.
Yeah. Another example of good mark, as the name suggests, good mark. So most commonly used Ayurveda formula for diabetes. Good mark. Good means sugary item. Good jaggery. Mar means cutting down. So the medicinal value of this good mar herb is already proven. So in that sense, we use some of these medications, not prepared by us, but we use in the market who are the best possible providers and cost effective. We use these two as a gauge to understand the value system and affordable integrative medicine concept.
Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sir. Yeah. Hope,
Thank you,
hope
sir.
this-
Very
yeah, hope-
interesting.
Yeah. Good. Okay then. Thank you very much for showing interest in this new concept of integrative medicine. So hope you all benefit from this. So thank you one and all.
Clarification.
Thank you.
Shall I make one clarification?
Sir.
See, there is a misconception about allopathic medicine. Basically, if you look at the research, almost everything, 90% of the allopathic medicines are derived from the plants. So ultimately, it is Ayurvedic medicine only. Allopathy is highly purified form of Ayurvedic medicine. So don't
I
think
agree.
allopathic medicines are bad. If
Yeah, I
people
agree.
have impression that बहुत strong दवाई दे दी थी, ज़्यादा antibiotic खिला दी थी. No, there has to be some. Of course, there is a mismanagement. I don't deny that there is no mismanagement. But then, in proper sense, if you look at the allopathic medicines, they are not very harmful. They have been time tested and they have been approved with evidence-based medicine. I mean, they have been controlled trials of randomized trials along with the placebos and everything. So these are very reliable when allopathic medicines are prescribed. So invariably, allopathic medicines are very good. You can always add Ayurvedic if they have shown some evidences that they are also effective. And the most important is good lifestyle. For now, almost every disease, the mental health and good lifestyle is becoming very, very important.
Doctor, can I ask a question? Hello. Hello. Hello.
Sir, those are very good conclusive words, sir. Thank you for that.
Doctor, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
See, I don't understand clearly. Suppose I have been taking Ayurvedic medicine, okay, only. And if I come to integrated medicine, how it differs?
Sorry. If your parameters are, see, what you mean to say is you are only following Ayurveda system and you're coming to an integrated platform, what will be the treatments? Are you asking, will they give allopathy medicines or not?
Yeah.
It depends on it. Again, it goes back to the same. Doctor, patients, and in the industry. In this, we'll evaluate what is the need of that particular patient for the patient body and mind, what exactly they need. If the blood sugars are very high, I'll take the same example. If the HbA1c of the person is very high and still taking medications, we insist them to go for allopathy medication for some time. Once their HbA1c and the normal average blood sugar comes back to normal, we'll say we'll taper the allopathy medication. That's one way to go about. But second way, we'll say that this is actually part of a patient education, where patient comes with a fixed mind that my Ayurveda hi lunga, I'll only take Ayurveda. So that is a kind of a closed system where it is self-harming. So it is not completely open. So this is actually problem of some of practicing doctors. They'll create a huge steroid antibiotic ज़्यादा देते हैं, steroid ज़्यादा देते हैं, अच्छा नहीं है, लूटते हैं. There are so many anti-allopathy agendas. That's fine. So the best answer for that is integrative medicine. And in your question is again, patient evaluation is what is very vital to take up to a particular conclusion.
Yeah. There are some patients who doesn't want to do any exercise. They want to take only tablets, enjoy food and lifestyle, and then live with it. Do you have any solution for that?
See, so let me just give me 1 second time. I'm trying to search for one word which I'm not getting. So if the mistake is done on a part of a cognitive denial to not to do, we cannot help. There is some specific word for that. Just so like I'll give you an example. Pradnya Aparada. The specific word I got it is Pradnya Aparada. Consciously you know that you are not, this is not good, but still
Voice is not heard.
I think he's getting a call.
Sorry, so many calls. So Pradnya Aparada. I'll give an example. Duryodhana knew that he is doing wrong, but still he continued to do wrong. Then the results are, you cannot say. Pradnya Aparada. Consciously you are doing wrong, we cannot help them. So at last what you can do is, we'll say that this is good for you, you can do this, you can continue. Beyond this point in time, you do whatever you feel like. Pradnya Aparada. So in that we'll not be able to enforce them. If they give up, permission to enforce, definitely we will enforce and correct. But otherwise we will not. Pradnya Aparada ko hum kuch nahi kar sakte.
Okay.
So
Last question is in your today's presentation, you were saying if anybody comes with a heart problem, you will refer to a multi-specialist doctor.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
then what is the difference between we going to directly to the multi-specialist doctor and coming to you? Because in the first section you said the cost of bills will come down. Once we go to the multi-specialist after referred by you, then he is going to take all the tests and all those things, right? And the bills will not come down.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
So actually,
then what is the difference?
There is a huge bit of difference in terms of patient's understanding of a disease and the surrounding, and the doctor's understanding of the disease and surrounding. In this case, what we will be doing is we will do a particular word called as health advocacy. You come with the reports, you come with the XYZ reports, we'll say cholesterol, triglycerides, what are the heart blocks and all those. Based on this particular lab investigations, what you brought in, what is the best possible method to go about, either with medicines or with surgery or all those, we will be able to tell as an unconditional one. It's not that we want to refer to a particular hospital, we will tell we'll tell you to do that, but we'll refer it with the patient interest. But if it is in if you go to a big hospital, for sure it will be, their interest will be how many operations I can do every month. So you take an example of a CABG operation and cesarean section, these two examples. The number of cesarean sections are more because of the commerce interest is also more, and laziness of the people is also more. I should not use this word, but the lifestyle changes are as such that we don't want to endure that pain. And doctors' greed is more that they want to get more quick buck, more money out of doing operations. I agree with that. So if
So
you go to a doctor, unnecessary not needed surgeries like small. I'll give another example. Small disc bulge. You go to a biggest, because we have a lot of money. You'll go to a biggest of spine surgeon. Spine surgeon, good spine surgeon, they'll say no need of operation, go home. So that's the best part of it. If it happens, usually it will happen in a trusted hospitals which you trust based on the scoring. There are different scoring systems for hospitals, not just the corporate status, but the number of research articles done by the doctor, and there are scoring systems. Okay. Yeah. So when after health advocacy patient goes, there is a huge difference. I'll give last example. One of a patient has a huge cervical cyst, and he visited directly to one of the well-known hospitals. They quoted 1.58 lakh for removal of that particular cyst that has been diagnosed. So we sent to another hospital. I no need to use the name. After the health advocacy, we found that it's a benign form of tumor where it grows, as one part of the brachial cleft, which is not very much grown from the childhood. It is remaining, and it is becoming in the form of cyst. So that has been removed with 49,000 rupees only. So 1.68 is different than 49,000 rupees. So that's what is the difference. But otherwise, otherwise it is there is the freedom of a person also. They're free to, there are so many people who will establish ICU in their home also, but they cannot guarantee the life. In that sense, it is left to the decision of a patient as a general public to decide what he or she wants. It is not that will not say that we should all come to us. Our only wish is, the famous sloka, Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu. We study together, we work together, let our study be better, but at the same time, let another mantra says that let nobody have a disease. So if a motto is that idealistic motto, and we don't want to get anything out of it except for this concept of integrative medicine, which is patient centric. If I want to take my own mother and how I put my mind to study all the aspects of that particular disease, and then take to a hospital, same way I'll do it for all the people. That's what it it's a different from others. So we'll give patient is at our center, nobody else, no other institutions, no other bias based food lobbies or pharma lobbies, nobody, hospital lobbies, commercial lobbies, nobody will be there. It's just patient and the doctor, and patient centric approach where cost effectiveness also is focused in the form of health advocacy. So it is an ocean. Integrative medicine is an ocean. As last time also it was 1 hour or not sufficient. Last time it was 1.5 hours. So today, this time also 1.5 hours. So weeks together we can keep asking and answering. But some at one particular time I might not be knowing. Then I should go for the most conclusive scientific evidence. As I as I need to search and do the literature review, then only I'll be able to answer. So this is how we should also be in a position to accept that limitations of integrative medicine and the tremendous possibilities of integrative medicine, what it can do for the people. And if you can check the reviews of those people who have already experienced, you'll get to see the difference. Everybody will do the Swastuti. अपने बारे में सब लोग अच्छा ही बोलेंगे ही. Swastuti they'll do. Swastuti let us not do. In our case, let us not do Swastuti. Let other people who have experience get their genuine review. You'll see what they say, and it might be true. And you check out for most possible conclusive scientific evidence to check that genuine the review is true or not by testing us. Okay.
I think people generally appreciate, and there's, I am personally, I can, testify for you. I have experienced this thing when I was down with COVID. So I think with that, I would like to wrap up the session now. It's quite late already. We are almost 30 minutes over, and I have very important announcement to make. Dr. Shashikant, thank you very much. We'll see you again on 23rd.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so
I
much,
hope to see
sir.
all of you again tomorrow.
Thank you.